Welcome to the Accountability and Hopeful Fridays Friday session.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let me grab my notes. Hold on. Yay. All right. Here we go. So today we have Edythe Richards. She is an employee development manager in the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. She is ICF credentialed coach. I have no idea what ICF means, but I'm sure Edythe is going to explain that. She's the founder of A Top Career and the co-host of a Myers-Briggs Question Corner podcast, runs the Make Me Want to Hire You boot camp series, and she's also an AHF member. So I'm going to say hello, Edythe. Welcome.
Hello, and thank you all so much. It's great to be here with you all.
Okay, so you told me that technical skills get you considered and emotional intelligence decides the rest. Say more about the decides the rest part. What if you actually watched it decide?
Uh, so let me share a little what I think is a secret about the hiring process. And I am saying this from somebody who is an HR manager, and I have been a career coach and career counselor for many years, specializing in helping mid-career adults to pivot and get hired after they've been let go. And I've been on that side myself too, because I was laid off. So I'm coming at this with, three sides of perspective here. And what I think is the hiring process is very, very subjective, as much as we might like to think otherwise. It comes down to very human decisions. And as humans, we have biases and we have preferences and we have gut reactions. So, as much as AI is playing into the process of getting the right skills in front of the right people, ultimately the decisions are very subjective and human ones. And what I think a lot of people, they might not put as much emphasis on these emotional intelligence and quote unquote soft skills as they do on the hard skills or the technical skills. And from my vantage point, I think we have to put equal emphasis on these skills. Um, I think what a lot of job seekers don't, excuse me, realize is interviewers, when you're sitting in an interview, um, what they're asking themselves, the hiring managers, even if they're not consciously aware of this, is what's it going to be like to work with this person every day? How are they going to represent this company? It's not so much, are you going to be able to do this job? By the interview stage, they already know, okay, technically you're able to do the job. But it really comes down to how they're assessing your ability to work on the team, to fit in with the group, to build relationships, to handle challenges. And this is really what sets candidates with similar qualifications apart. The technical skills absolutely matter. The hiring decision is very much influenced by how people experience you, whether they can picture you as a trusted colleague. And if so, you're going to be much more likely to get an offer. So that's my very long-winded answer to your question.
No, that's great. That is excellent. So, um, most of our members can talk about their top 5 skills, but I don't think everyone can tell anyone the impression they leave. Why is that gap so wide and what closes it?
This often comes down to the foundation of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. So again, when we're thinking about successful job search and skills, we often do tend to hone in on those technical skills, which absolutely matter. Often what gets overlooked is the emotional side of the job search. So emotional intelligence, if I can just mention, my favorite definition of it is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, and also recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. And it often comes down to this influencing. And we can't get to that influencing unless we kind of have a good gauge on our own self-awareness. So how are we showing up? And that's a really important question. I'm hoping everybody here can think about honestly, is how are you showing up? Uh, when we're in the midst of a job search, actually, let me just ask this question to the group. How many of you all have kind of lost your confidence as a result of the job search?
Up and down.
I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of hands that are raised here, and I absolutely understand that. I can so empathize with that. And over the years, I have seen this happen to hundreds and hundreds of people. And, your confidence is taking a hit. And I think what's less likely, what we don't really realize we're doing, is that that is affecting how we're showing up in networking events and on interviews and things like that. So we unknowingly might send signals that are pushing people and opportunities away. We're feeling a certain way internally. We're feeling frustrated and angry, discouraged, and we might not realize how these feelings are being perceived externally. And I mean, again, I understand this because it's happened to me. It challenged my confidence. And I've also learned that these reactions are very normal. They're manageable. And the good news is I have seen a lot of people completely turn their job searches around. Often, I think the biggest challenge isn't a new resume or a LinkedIn profile. It's greater self-awareness, healthier mindset, stronger emotional intelligence. And, again, I have seen this happen to so many job seekers over the years. They're showing up unintentionally. Let me just say that as a caveat. It's unintentional, showing up as desperate or defensive or negative in some way or discouraged in some way. And a lot of people assure me that they're not showing up this way in interviews and in networking events. And I'm gonna challenge that because I'm going to say that may or may not be the case, and it's good to gauge that with some trusted colleagues around you. Ask people how are you showing up? How do you experience me? So the point is, we don't want to let these um, unhealthy emotions kind of drive our behavior. Oh, sorry, I think your mic's on mute.
I know.
Okay.
Um,
I saw your
so
lips moving and I I didn't want to miss what you were
yeah,
saying.
no. Um, so what does low self-awareness actually look like in a networking conversation? So like give us a tell, something that we might be doing that we don't realize we're doing.
Coming across as defensive is a really big one. Um, I over explaining. I got I got let go, and the company was going through changes, and I got let go. And sometimes it comes across non-verbally as well. You're not very open, showing up as not very open to connecting with people. You might come across as anxious or frustrated, um, discouraged, uh, and yeah, a lot of over explaining, defensiveness, maybe anger. And I've seen this with a lot of very highly skilled mid-career adults who have moved forward in their careers because of their technical aptitude, and unfortunately, through no fault of their own, they find themselves in these situations, and yeah, it's unfortunate. And it's funny. I saw this, cheesy as this is going to sound. I was scrolling through LinkedIn today, and I saw a little clip from Rocky. I don't know, it was like Rocky 4 or 5 or something like that. But Rocky is stressing to his son, life is going to throw all of this stuff at you, and you have just got to keep on going. And that's what I'm going to encourage people to do. It's like, yeah, this bad stuff happened. Don't let it define you. Um, you've got to keep on going. Your anxiety might show up as rambling, like I'm doing now, or over explaining in interviews, sending a lot of emails. Um, Frustration can show up as some type of negativity, irritation, being discouraged. It might show up as withdrawing, or just not applying to jobs as frequently, showing up with lower energy. The issue I want to convey here is that the other people who are experiencing you, they're not seeing that emotion. They're only seeing the behavior. And so they're going to make an assumptions, often unconscious assumptions, based on that behavior.
Yeah, because they don't have the context behind it. And frankly, we shouldn't be providing it, but they don't have the context behind it. And I think too often we feel that, well, you should understand, I've been unemployed for 24 months or 12 months, and, you know, this is bound to show up. But organizations just aren't interested in your backstory. Um, okay,
And
so
they're human too, as we all are, and we're all operating from our emotions, whether we're
yep,
aware of them or not.
or not. Okay, so one last question here, and then I want to switch reels just a little bit. Um, you sit inside an organization and watch people come through. What do you notice about candidates, about how candidates land where they clearly have no idea what they're doing? And I know we've talked about this a little bit, but give me the Monday morning version. Somebody hears this today and has a networking call or an interview Monday. What do they do differently on that call to make sure they don't show up this way?
One thing I would recommend is doing your research and your due diligence. And I'm not talking about the job itself. I'm talking about the people you're going to be talking with. Take a look at their LinkedIn profile. Your person's LinkedIn profile often has a lot of meta information there. So take a look at how they write their profile. Take a look at what they post or what they don't post, if they like certain things, if they comment. Take a look at who they're connected to, the groups they belong to. Uh, that can give you a lot of cues about who you're dealing with. And once you have that information about that person, you can start to craft a message that they can better relate to.
Excellent. Okay, so this is part of the search that does not go on a resume. Somebody is 9 months in, doing everything right. They're still getting silence. What does emotional intelligence actually offer that person? And I want an honest answer here, not an encouraging one.
So if somebody is 9 months in and they're just not getting a lot of traction, right? That was your question?
Yep.
Okay. I think it's just about keeping on keeping on. Uh, and it's really, really hard in that situation. And I would also encourage the person to take a look, an honest look of what they've done. What have you been doing? How have you been applying to jobs? Where have you been applying? Um, if something's not working, if you've been sending out hundreds and hundreds of resumes and nobody's responded yet, you got to take a look at that. If you are going on interviews and you're just not getting chosen, take a look at that. Ask yourself, are you committed to your goal? What is your goal? Or are you doing only one type of, are you committed to only one type of way to reach your goal or particular way of getting there? We know how quickly the market is changing. And I think the most successful job seekers are the ones who are able to keep on going, but adjust to these realities. If something's not working for you very well, you have to take an honest look at it and get past your own ego, get past your own discouragement, and just try to pivot, try to change, um, connect with people who can help with you, and recognize that everybody, me included, we all have our own opinions about things. So you kind of have to sometimes sift through a lot of information that's out there in order to find the information that works for you. So I would say just got to be adaptable, but that doesn't mean lowering your standards. It just means staying open to opportunities, maybe, or people or organizations that you may not have considered.
So one last question here, and then we're going to pivot one more time, and then we're going to get into the Q&A.
Okay.
Feedback is rare in this process. So when someone finally gets some and it stings, how should they handle it?
It really, yeah, it, it depends on so much, right? But I would say it's so easy in that instance to get defensive and to get angry, right? And that might be your first reaction. But you might want to hold off on letting that other person know how much it stings and take a couple seconds and think about it. Okay, I really need to think about that. Let me sit with that for a bit. And then sit with it and see. Use your critical thinking skills, your analysis skills to find out, is this really true? Is this how other people experience me too? You can ask some other people even, and if you're getting a lot of people saying the same things, then that's probably something you want to take a look at.
Nice. So people hire people is a thing that everybody agrees with, but nobody really acts on. So they go back to the application portal. What does acting on it actually look like?
Acting. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
So people hiring people is kind of a thing that everyone agrees with, but then nobody really acts on. So they go back to the application portal. What does acting on it actually look like? Acting on that people hire people thing.
Acting on the people hiring people. Well, I think if I'm understanding your question correctly, what we might be talking about here really is the trust factor with human relationships. Um, and so maybe I can ask the group a question here, just quick raise of hands. Like, how many of you all have gone out of your way to help somebody because you genuinely liked them or trusted them? Quick show of hands. Yeah. Right. I think I was thinking we get a lot of hands raised for that one. Yeah, and this is how networking works, right? Uh, and it's back to your point here, people hire people. I'm going to add on to that. People hire people who they know and trust and like. And likability is huge here. A lot of people, when they're talking about networking, they might think it's about convincing people that I know what I'm doing, I'm qualified. Um, in reality, what it is, it's about building trust and connection so that people feel comfortable helping you the way that you would feel comfortable helping somebody you feel connected to and like and trust. And I'm going to say the best people, the best networkers are the ones who don't focus on themselves. They are the ones who ask good questions. They're the ones who listen well, and they're the people who build connected and authentic relationships. So I really want to encourage all the folks here today to remember this, because this is really a big one. People are going to be so much more likely to recommend you, to hire you, if they like you, if you're professional and you're positive, you're responsive, and you're easy to work with.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't ask that so it was clear, but yeah, that's what I was
It's
getting at, the
okay.
networking. So our members here network more constantly. And it usually gets an eye roll or a groan.
Yeah.
What is the version of that advice that works for someone who finds it exhausting or inauthentic or just I just don't wanna.
Maybe think about it more as a conversation you're having rather than networking. Um, some people are really good at going into this big room and just finding people and kind of connecting with them on sort of a surface level. Um, and then other people are really good at having these deep conversations and connections. So I would say the greater self-awareness that you have and you understand what works for you, what types of conversations you're attracted to and what types of people you're attracted to, the easier it's going to be to network.
Excellent. All right, I want to get into the Q&A, but before we do that, Jimmy, can you stop the recording? Because this is where we stop the recording, right?
Yep, give me 1 second here. I'm going to stop the recording.